Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so welcome to another Miracle Monday, where, as everybody knows, it's where Mom and I just have real conversations that we have all the time. And I'm going to share today because it's at the forefront of my mind, um, that my hope, and I know, Mom, this is uncomfortable I don't know if uncomfortable is the right word, but it's weird. It's weird. Um, But my intention with this is that I know that you live your life in a really beautiful and unique way in comparison to a lot of people. I think you're amazing. I think the way you do life, the way you approach things, we can all learn from. Like, and I'm lucky enough that I get to in because you're my mom in all of our conversations. So, this conversation that we're going to have today is like I'm going to say birthed or whatever from that. But I just really think that these conversations on Miracle Monday, one of the biggest intentions for me is to share you and our conversations with the world in this beautiful way that you live life. Because people maybe don't know that they have choice or don't know that they could think in a different way that could make things easier for them and then, end up living their life not feeling as happy as they could feel. Anyways, I just wanted to say, I know it's weird that you're like the star of the show, but you are the star of the show. Yes, you are. And how you live your life is so beautiful. So, and even in the tough moments, like today isn't about that, but even in the tough moments and the challenges that you face, the way you do life is so beautiful.
Well, thank you. I just don't know how to do it any other way, so it
I know.
doesn't feel very special to me, but
But you do know that we get to see a lot of people who aren't living it that way, and that's where you get to share your wisdom. Yes, it's like the tools of NLP and helping people release things and all of those things, but there's a million people who do NLP in the world. What you bring to it is you and your way of doing life, right? So my point is you get to see that a lot of people don't live the same way
mm,
that you live, really.
yeah.
Um, so what I wanted to talk about today is family.
Okay.
So it popped into my head yesterday that um, the way you view family, the choices that you make um, with your family, both your birth family and us, the us, um, you're really intentional and really purposeful about how you live your life. And I think you do it different than a lot of people in this world do. And I think it frees you to live a more beautiful life. And so I wanted to talk about that.
Okay. So
So maybe I'll ask this is like such a general question, but what what are your views on family? Like how do you think of family? Or does that, can you share anything?
well, there's a couple of things, and again, we'll probably go back and forth and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But when I think about family from the perspective of like when I was young and so on, or my history with family,
Yeah.
my memories, the people that I feel taught me what family is my grandparents. We lived with them till I was 6 years old. All my memories are just so good. And I had three uncles that were in the Navy and they brought me presents and but living with my grandparents, they were just so loving. I think that was the unconditional love that I experienced.
And they
And
were your mom's parents?
yes,
Okay.
yeah. And so when I was 6, we moved from there. But as we know, it's like 0 to 7. So much happens within and the beliefs and all of those things and values. And so I think that's where everything came from for me, even to the degree, I don't know if I've ever, shared it on here before, but like I can remember I was going to high school and my grandfather would pick me up on his way to work and he'd give me treats out of his lunch bucket and then drive
Aw.
me to school.
Aw.
I was a teenager and that's what he would do. He was just, that's what they were like. So that's what they were to me. Completely loving and yeah,
How
unconditional.
long did they live? When do you remember how old you were when you lost them?
I was in my teens, maybe 16 or so when my grandfather died and Brad was born. He was a baby when my
Oh,
grandfather,
wow.
yeah. I have
Aw.
a picture of Brad and my
Aw, I
grandfather.
didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
so yeah, so they were very, very special to me. Um, and strangely enough, I don't really have memories of my mom and dad and I. Like I just don't, I honestly can't conjure up a memory of us having dinner together as an example. Like I can picture the house we moved to, but all my memories of that were my friends, Eric and Larry and Cami and Peggy. And, I remember all my friends and all the things we did and, playing in the fields and having concerts, dancing, like and I was, we'd played school and I was a teacher. So I have memories,
Yeah.
but those are my memories.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're not, and getting dressed up to go to church because I got to dress up. But again, that was with the family. I remember like my uncles and aunts. And so, yeah, so that's kind of where the foundation, I think, came.
Yeah.
And then I think my mom was struggling so much in her life that, I don't know how happy she was, and then we left my dad when I was 12 and moved in with my grandparents again until my mom remarried and whatever. So, but all my good memories were from, being young. And then when I left there, I had like really good experiences with other people that were really loving and kind and, took me in, because I was only, I guess, 17 when I left. And, I just, so yeah, so I'm kind of getting off track in terms of
No, but I think it's all interesting
family.
because this does lay the foundation for how you do it differently. So when you lived at home, you do have a brother and a sister.
I do.
Yeah. And so you all live together, obviously, I'm
Yeah, but
assuming.
not for long. Like my brother was 13 years younger than me. My sister was 6 years younger than me. And
Yeah, so they were quite young when you moved out.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And so, and my sister, like I remember, and I think my mom probably shared, but I always wanted to do things with my little sister, but she was all shy and, didn't want to do anything. So I don't have memories. So I think that's one thing with family is memories are really, really super important as to how you feel years later. So
Interesting.
I have no real memories with my sister or my brother,
Okay.
fun things we did or anything like that. Whereas I can tell you, like I say, my friends when I was much younger, like all the fun things
Yeah,
but I don't have any of that with my brother or sister or, mom and stepfather and doing things lovingly together. Like I don't have it. And
interesting.
I left.
So to all the parents who might watch this with young ones, create lots of memories.
Oh, really? And
Yeah,
I think among siblings too. I think
yeah,
the siblings that are sincerely connected are ones that have spent time together, creating a life together, like having fun together, having memories together, doing things together.
yeah.
It's just natural that that carries on, but I don't think you can conjure it up. And I think
Right.
we kind of talked about this, but I think we're taught that family should come first no matter what. And Go ahead. Were you going to ask something?
No,
Say
I was going
something?
to say, and this leads us to like your view of family that's different than what, the general um description of family or beliefs of what family should be.
Yeah. And it's funny because I keep thinking that, and I don't know if this is where it came from or whatever, but I do remember Oprah saying something about family that it doesn't give people an excuse. I can't really remember what, but she was talking about abusive behavior and unkind and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
That just because you're family, that doesn't isn't an excuse to be mistreated by people. I'm not really quoting her properly, but
Yeah. The
that's the
idea.
idea. And I always remembered that, but I think it was there naturally anyways. So somehow, yeah, I've gravitated or been blessed with people around me that are really kind and loving and, whether they were real family or not. So with my sister and brother, I haven't seen them for, oh gosh, I don't know how many years. Could be 20 years or something. I'm not really sure, but a long time.
Yeah. And
And
what had you make that choice? Like that's a conscious choice. Yeah.
we have a different view of life. So they had a different life. They grew up differently. And I'm making all this part up, by the
Yeah.
way, but they
Yeah. This
did
is
grow
your
up,
perception of it, your
right.
experience of it. Yeah.
They grew up differently. So they would have a different view of the world than me. And then with them, I think that yeah, we just weren't alike. Like my sister had challenges all the time and she just had challenges all the time in her life, which I'm very sorry for. I don't mean to judge it,
Yeah.
but can't, I couldn't be around it. There came a point where, we were on the phone and when she would talk to me and complain and about everything and whatever, and again, I feel bad. I don't mean to be unkind or anything.
No. Yeah.
But I couldn't listen. Like I literally would sit with my hand on my heart because I wanted to be there to let her speak. But it was very hard on me physically, like
Yeah.
literally physically. And then my brother, I can't even remember. He got really angry about something, like really and Uva and I had really supported him and we'd visited him and all that kind of stuff. But I don't even remember, but he got really upset about something and wanted to really argue with me and really get into some kind of big fight. And I just said I wasn't interested. And if I wasn't willing to battle it out, he
Yeah.
didn't want to, connect. So that was kind of the two of them. So I don't feel negative and I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad things about them. But for some reason, we weren't aligned. And I hadn't thought of it so clearly as right now, too, is I had a very different life. I was so impacted by my grandparents
Yeah.
and my aunts and uncles. And even when when my mom remarried, and again, I was close to my aunts and uncles. I loved it. I mean, and cousins, and I can remember, being little and having parties in the real basements, not
Yeah.
whatever. And somebody playing the accordion and dancing and, things like that, and having Christmas and New Year's with my aunts and uncles, and I loved it. And then my stepfather decided that he didn't want to do that anymore and pulled away from the family.
Yeah.
And so, that would have impacted a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it just, we pulled away. So I don't know. I feel I'm rambling, but that's kind
No,
of
I
the,
don't think you are. So let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Um, your experience with Brad and I, like,
Yeah,
and our kids and Uva, like our family
yeah,
now, which is, all of us collectively, but it did start with you, Brad, and I,
yes,
right? Um, is very different than what your family experience was. And so I guess what I think is like fascinating is not the right word, admirable, I don't know what the word is, but what I would like other people to hear in case they have situations where interacting with their family creates pain of some kind, but they do it because they feel like they should. I think this is just an example of, not to say it's right or wrong, good or bad, but like opening up the possibility that there is a different way and that not everybody does it the way they do. Is you have the ability to lovingly within yourself, like lovingly detach from family on one hand, and then unconditionally love and create this beautiful family on the other hand. So it's not like you have rules within you that family is this. They're two very different experiences, both created intentionally by you.
Yes,
One to free yourself from interacting with things that aren't aligned and create pain, the other with really creating this beautiful, supportive, unconditional love.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. Like I was just thinking about even with my mom, how um yeah, a long time ago, I can remember Uva saying how she and my sister that they were quite unkind to me, which I don't know what that means or what that was.
Because you don't remember anything bad.
No, I don't want to get, it's not
Yeah.
important,
Yeah.
but I can remember him like being really bothered that how they treated me. And so I think again, what I've done is I was able to pull away, but not by confronting anybody.
Hmm.
So I didn't have to confront them. I didn't have to tell them how I felt. I didn't have to do any of that. I could just quietly, detach.
Hmm.
So I could still talk to my mom, but I had no expectations,
Yeah.
Um, I remember one time when I was a single mom on my own, and I can remember really feeling I really needed my mom's help and being in tears and talking to her. And she said she promised she would help and be there for me and whatever. And then soon after that, when I needed some support, she just said, "I'm sorry, I can't do that." And, it was just like, okay, she can't do it. I have to stop wanting it, expecting it, hoping for it, right? Um,
This is the first time I've seen a parallel between my experience with dad and your experience with your mom. So interesting. I've never heard, I don't know, I just have never thought of a parallel in that way. But anyways, carry on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what else. So it's like recognizing what is and not, I think we're taught to confront people,
Yeah.
to stand up for ourselves and confront people. And I don't like that. It doesn't feel good inside of me. It's not that I'm afraid to, and it's just I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't need to. I
Yeah.
can just remove myself from the situation. I can still, be respectful of people for who they are, but I don't have to confront them.
And I think one of the things that is beautiful about the way you live life, and I hope that I live life in the same way as you do, is not making them bad or wrong, just really being aware of what works for you and what doesn't, and taking sort of ownership of your own well-being and your happiness. Like if we want to be happy and vibrant and shine our light and and be able to be the person we want to be and interact with the people that we do have in our lives, then we have to be purposeful and intentional about the choices we make to do so. So, like you knowing that when you interact in that way, it like literally physically is hard for you. Well, obviously, then there's work that you need to do on the other side to like get rid of that feeling so that you can go on and live this beautiful life that you live. Um, and so, yeah, I think it's just, um, I love that you don't have to have somebody else be bad or wrong in order for you to do what's right for you.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just don't think we do.
Yeah.
I think it serves us to do that. And so, yeah. And would it be nice if I had a relationship with my brother and sister? Yeah, but again, if I really look back at our life, we don't have
Yeah.
time that we spent together. It was just the way life was. And I think life is just different for everyone. And it wasn't, and again, if we just go to our family, like we say, I mean, it's like, I hear people say that it's such a responsibility being a single parent and all of that. I don't mean to belittle anybody. I really don't. But I can sincerely say I didn't think in those terms,
Yeah.
you know, but I have done things differently. I made different choices, and half the time I couldn't really tell a lot of like adult people my views, because again, it's like I should have been more responsible with money and saved money and not spent money on taking you to a guest ranch, for Easter or things like that. But for me, we had so much fun, and my friends used to say, my girlfriends, they would say, you need to get out and you need to go and date. And not that I didn't ever date, don't get me wrong, but the point is, they really thought I should be out with them. They were married and they were clubbing and whatever, and I wasn't. And they were like, "You're going to be sorry. Your kids are going to be gone, and you're going to have nobody." And but I didn't want to go do that.
Yeah.
It was more fun for me to go to, an amusement park with you, or like all my memories are fun. Like I know I've probably said it a zillion times, but I just so remember us all doing the dishes and all of a sudden breaking out in song, and one of us played an instrument and whatever, and we were walking around the house singing and whatever, and it's just like you were way more fun
Yeah.
than
So how did you go from not really having that in your home to
Mhm.
like creating that with us?
Well, one thing, and I think I probably shared this with you before, but one thing that really brought it to my mind. Well, I think there's a couple of things. I mean, again, I lived with the Webb family, and they were so loving and kind. And I don't know. I don't know if I can pinpoint anything, but I do remember one time when after your dad left, and and I remember talking to him on the phone. I remember sitting on the floor in the bedroom, hanging up the phone, sitting there thinking, I just don't know if I can do this. I mean, you were 6 months old and, Brad was 3. And I mean, I just didn't know uh, how I was going to do this. Anyways, I got this flash of a vision with these old people sitting there talking, complaining because their kids weren't anywhere. And the message that came to me in that, of course, these things are flashes, right?
Mhm.
But was that they weren't there for their kids when their kids needed them. So when their kids were little, their kids needed them. Now they've got nothing to do. So now they need their kids, but their kids had to be independent without them. And therefore, they weren't there for them. And
Mhm.
for whatever reason, honestly, like that's how many years ago? Many, many. And it stuck with me. Like I really, really held on to that and just I decided at that point that I would be there for you guys, and that my purpose was to let you know that no matter what you did, there was always somebody behind you so that you could have the courage to do what you wanted to do. And that kind of thing. And I mean, again, it's all flashes, but
Yeah.
that's what came to me and it stuck with me. It never, ever left me, to the degree that I was really conscious. I mean, this may sound really silly, but I was really conscious of, and you wouldn't know this, but if I was busy doing something and one of you called me to look at something, I would stop what I was doing and go and see what you wanted to show me.
Mhm.
And that was really conscious.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh God, there, need to do this. I'll be there when I finish. That decision I made just allowed me to, and I don't know if I could say joyfully. I would say joyfully, it must have been because
If it wasn't, you won't remember.
No, exactly. So, I do remember doing that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and just little things, like the psychologist, I can remember I was so worried about you because I had had 3 years with Brad being there every day, not working. And then I had to go to work. And, I was so worried about you. And was working at Simon Fraser and I took you up there. They had a daycare and a psychologist and whatever. And she told me, just, be there for her. And I don't remember if I told her specifically, but I do remember that it was like you would come while I was doing things and hold on to my legs and just kind of, toddle around and and that was okay. Like I never tried to,
Kick me off.
yeah.
Punt
But
me across the room.
but I think the point of it is the purposefulness
Yeah.
in the doing,
Yeah.
no?
And so I think that like overarching, again, thinking of the people who are listening to this conversation who are parents or obviously everyone's a kid of somebody. Um, I think one of the things about you and how you do life is just that you're super, super purposeful and intentional with everything that you do. And so the decision you made to free yourself from being like, okay, so I think there's a lot of people that walk around that live their lives and feel that they have to interact with their family because it's family, blood is thicker than water. We have this responsibility, and even if it causes pain, that they have to do that. And I just want you to be an example of the fact that we do need to take responsibility for ourselves. Now, at the end of the day, we have to be comfortable and in alignment with whatever decision we make. And so if it's more important to them to have these people in their life than it is, say, have peace, inner peace and whatever, then that's okay. It's not that it's wrong, but for the people who are like feeling like that it isn't right, but they don't know how, or they think they're going to be a bad person if they let go, or that kind of thing. I just want you to be an example of you're a beautiful, amazing, kind, loving woman who took ownership of your own well-being and kindly, not with through conflict, not through a big blow up, not through anything like that, but made choices to live your life in alignment. And then you very purposefully did, created a connection with Brad and I intentionally, to have the outcome of that be different than what it was that you experienced. So,
And I'm the winner. It's like I'm the winner for us living our life that way. Like
yeah.
I get to be with
Well,
my
I think there's more. I think more than you is the winner. More than you are the winner. I think we all won.
yeah, but really, I mean, it's just yeah, it's I think that again, it's challenging to figure out what is okay and what isn't okay. And that's where we have to heal ourselves within ourselves so that we can be okay and also honor if somebody else's journey is so different from mine. And oh my gosh, I would just like so not want their journey. I don't have to save them. If I want to do things to help them, that's different. I'm not saying
Yeah.
never do
Yeah.
anything, but I can't save another person and they have responsibility in their own life. And what if they're supposed to have this journey?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, they must, or they wouldn't be having it.
That's
And
right.
so,
They would be making different choices.
right. And so,
Yeah.
who am I to
Yeah.
judge them? If they came and needed my help and whatever, well, I'm sure I would help. But the point is, if it's nasty stuff and just for me, it just doesn't work. I can't
Well,
do it.
there's kind of like this overarching, I mean, I feel like it's funny because I say this, for midlife women, which has nothing to do, the context isn't to do with family, but it's like we can't do things for other people at the sacrifice of our own selves.
No.
So when it feels good to be around people, when it feels good to help people, when we want to genuinely for whatever reason, that's one thing. But to sacrifice our own soul in order to try to make other people happy or okay or comfortable, that's not okay, in my opinion.
No, because who are we serving at that
Yeah.
point? You know,
Yeah.
if it's really hard on us, there's a good chance we're not influencing the other person anyways.
Yeah.
Right? So if otherwise it wouldn't be hard on us.
Yeah.
Be a journey together, you know?
And then if we are doing something that's really hard on us, then all of a sudden we are like, I can't think of anything other than like we're shrunken. And then we go out into our life with the people that we love or doing the things that we love to do. But the energy within us is different because we're impacted by this yuckiness over here.
Mhm. And I think somehow, so we do come in, I think, a certain way. Like I do believe that. But
Yeah.
then as I talk about thinking about my grandparents and that, they were a huge, huge, huge influence in my life,
Yeah.
you know? So I think that we also have choice and can make decisions. So there's lots of people that have had very challenging childhoods and they've created the most beautiful life for themselves and their family.
Yeah.
So there's some kind of choice that's made somewhere
Yeah.
inside us.
Yeah. I really believe that it's like, everybody has a story, and some people have had like really incredibly painful, horrific experiences in their life.
Yes.
And it's not to minimize that like at all.
No.
And there comes a point where we have every person has a decision. Either that's going to define them and they're going to kind of continue like to have that impact them negatively, or there's going to be a catalyst for change where they're going to do life different because of it. Like I always think of Oprah. Like think of the childhood she had and look at how the amazing impact that she has on the world. On a little micro level, look at the childhood that you had and look at what you created for Brad and I. Like we have a choice. We either do it the same as our parents did it, or we make a choice and we do it different. Everybody has a choice. There's only so long that your past can be an excuse for, I'm going to say, poor behavior. Now, this is another conversation, and so I don't think we need to go down that. But if you had one, again, thinking of the people that might be listening to this, if you had one sort of departing thought or like something that you think could plant a seed for them to just think about their life or think differently or whatever. Is there anything with regards to family? Because I think family can create a lot of pain for people. Do you have
And
anything that you would,
joy.
pardon?
And joy.
And joy. Yes. Yes.
So sorry to have interrupted you, but
No, that's a good thing to interrupt with.
um, so I think that it's important to honor ourselves and to honor other people. So maybe someone's journey is that they're meant to be there and, you know, be uncomfortable and whatever. I don't want to be telling people to live their life a certain way.
That's right.
But if it doesn't feel right, and if you're only doing things with family because you should, because that's what family does, then I think that it's important to look at your values, what's important to you. And we're all just different. I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a challenge for me because I don't know how to do it differently. And
Hmm.
I've been very blessed with the beautiful, beautiful people in my life, like my family and extended family and so I don't know. I think you just have to notice. And I think it's about not doing it because it's family,
Yeah.
but doing it because it's the right thing that you want to do in your heart and soul, and that it isn't taking from your heart and soul to do it.
Boom. Perfect. That is a beautiful way to end. And yeah, I think that's a really that is the important message. And so that's going to look different with different people, meaning, yeah, with all the different people in your life. So you're just evaluating, reevaluating, paying attention, being intentional, knowing who you want to be, knowing how you want to feel in your life, and then making choices to live your life in a way that feels good to you.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm glad that I'm your family, that you're my family.
I'm glad you're mine. I know we're so lucky. I
We
really,
are so lucky.
people are
Yeah.
probably tired of hearing us say that, but oh my God, like when I think of everybody in we have a little family, but
Yeah.
wow, do we have a good one?
We sure do. And it all started with you.
Yeah, I never thought about that till this Christmas. So
Yeah.
the first time I looked around and thought, wow, yeah,
I made this.
yeah. See, and that's
Okay.
why I could never not appreciate your dad.
Yeah.
So there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. I love you.
well, we do. See you
Okay.
sometime.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.